So today I'm talking about plotting and what I've been working on in the past few days since my last vlog. I've made a few decisions about my series. One, the series has a name, the Covenstone series. The Covenstone referring to the Covenstone Manor, which is going to be kind of like a central setting for all of the books. A few of the other decisions I have made in regards to the project. Each book will have 2 points of views, the hero and the heroine. And these points of views will be third limited. Setting, besides Covenstone Manor, I have decided to place it in the Blue Ridge Mountains of near Asheville, North Carolina. There's a couple of reasons for this. One, it's close to where I am now. It's only a few hours drive. So if I wanted to, I could go out and do some research myself. Two, it kind of plays into the feeling I want for the project and each of the books. The next thing I've decided on was the family and the key players in all the books. Since all the stories in this series revolve around one family, I figured out who's who in the birth order of all the siblings. I felt this was necessary to do before my character building stage, simply because of who the characters are going to affect the plots of the stories. For instance, the free-spirited sister is one of the youngest siblings, which plays well with her disappearing off with her on and off again boyfriend. But after doing all this, I also have in my mind what's happened to their parents, some of their family history, and I'm starting to get a vague idea of how each of them treat each other and how the community kind of feels about them and treats them as a whole. So, and this will be handy to when I finally do get to that character building stage, and it'll just be more I can draw from. Once I had the family sorted out, I looked back at the 3 pages of notes I had originally taken and realized I had more story than I thought I did. So I've expanded the series from 3 books to 6 books. I then figured out which sibling was the key player in each of those books. I wrote their name down on an index card, and I also added the main idea for that book. And once I had them all written out, I played with the order until I was kind of happy with the way the story unfolded, thinking about the series as a whole. Doing this now, before getting into the plotting of the individual books, is really helpful because then when I do go into plotting those individual books, I can drop hints and introduce other key characters and add some subplots that can kind of carry through the series and help tie it together as a whole. Now that I've done that, that's kind of where I've gotten to so far. I have started plotting the first book. So at this point, I turn to a 3-act structure. I have a couple of cork boards up on the wall over there, and I can show you, but my office is a little mess. But there, see? Okay, so this one right here, I'm using for the structure of individual books. And you can see I've got it separated into 3 major categories, and that's Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And then Act 2 also has another little divider in the middle. Let's see if I can touch it right there. It's got a little faint one. It's like Act 2.1 and 2.2. It kind of breaks up like that. Now, I originally came across this idea years ago. It was back when I started writing and really getting into the whole professional end of it. I came across I think she was local back then. Her name's Alexandria Sokoloff, and she wrote a book called Screenwriting Tips for Authors, and I'll link it in the description below. She lays out the 3-act structure, and it's so easy to follow. She also gives other examples. She breaks down movies so you can easily watch the movie with the outline and say, okay, this is this plot point, this is this plot point. And it makes it very easy to visualize and figure out which points of the story, like the opening scene, the midpoint, the darkest moment. It makes it very easy to kind of have it all click. At least it did for me. That's how I've been plotting, at least the majority of my books. I do overall ideas of scenes, as you can see. Sorry, I'll bring it over again. So those little post-it notes right there. Each one of those post-it notes are a scene. You can see I've got one blue one. That's the hero. The other yellow ones are my heroine. Her name's Iris. Yeah, so each of those little post-it notes is a scene. And as I move down, I can rearrange them. That's one of the biggest things I love about working with a corkboard and post-it notes. I hate wasting the paper. I usually end up recycling them or using them as kindling for my fire. It's helpful, and it makes it click for me. I have all that. And so my project over the next week will be to finish plotting that first book. And then I will probably move on to at least the second and third books. I want to go ahead and have those plotted so I have an idea of what happens on a deeper level in each book. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I'm a little behind on Wattpad updates. I'm trying to get caught up. It's been a little rough here. We now have a snowstorm coming. I have to run out here in a few minutes to go get lay-in supplies before I have to get the kids this afternoon. So bye-bye writing time, pretty much. The fun joy of writing around kids. I'm so glad you joined me for this vlog. If you have a moment, check me out on Patreon. I'm at Saachila everywhere, but all those links are also listed below. Thanks, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.